checking in, starting with how you're doing today, particularly as obviously, as of the time of recording, we're less than 48 hours away from the release of your new album.
Yeah, we're good, mate. Cheers. Yeah, it's an exciting time.
Yeah, definitely. It's I think it's just that suspense for waiting for the world to hear it, but no, otherwise it's yeah, I think we're just waiting at the moment, really, aren't we, Jake?
That's it. Eternal waiting.
That's the one.
You got to that stage where you just want it out in the world, basically. You want people to hear it and experience it and give you feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I mean, we recorded it back in March now, so it seems another lifetime almost. But yeah, it's coming finally. It's gonna be out there, and we're really
Yeah, you get that 6 months of not very much after you first record it. I mean, it's 3 months till you get to announce it or anything. So it's a slow moving machine, but yeah, finally coming to fruition. It feels a bit surreal, to be honest, but yeah.
It'll come, it'll pass, and then you know, it'll be another excellent record under your belt. Because of course we are talking about your brand new album Fever Dream, which is out Friday, 20th September 2024 via Heavy Psych Sounds. So individually, I want to ask you, what does it mean for you to get this record out?
It's a hell of a lot for me. I mean, it's our third record on Heavy Psych Sounds, my second in the band, and it's just it's a hell of an achievement. That's the way I see it. You know, we've come together, really persevered, worked hard to get the songs as good as they can be and choose the best songs, and yeah, I'm just super proud at the moment.
yeah, I'd echo all of that really. I mean, you know, I think probably speak for Matt as well, but the band means everything to us, you know. So to see things come to fruition finally, it does mean a lot. We play it down, but we all know that it means everything.
I'm glad to hear that. It is an incredible achievement, not only to obviously get as many records out as you have done at this point, but also to have 3 on Heavy Psych Sounds, to still be going strong at this point with generally positive, great positive reactions to what's been released so far, the singles released so far, which is fantastic to see. Looking at looking at the reactions, has that helped kind of ease your mind into how you kind of feel the full thing might be received?
To be honest, it probably sounds a bit arrogant, but I mean, obviously, you know, you'd rather it be liked than not liked, undoubtedly. But at the same time, we kind of do it for us as well. And as long as we're happy, that comes first. Having said that, you know, it's nicer to have nice things to said about you than not. But you know, we're reasonably comfortable, confident in what we do, and you know, hopefully things follow on from there in the way you want them to go.
Absolutely, like it's always nice when your friend has a listen, they really get behind one of the new things. But if we didn't like it, then we wouldn't do it, we wouldn't release it. So yeah, it's definitely a bit of both, I'd say.
So then it's fair to say you're able to kind of detach, you're able to sort of enjoy the world of online comments and reactions to your music, but also detach yourself from becoming, say, obsessed with that side of things.
Definitely. I mean, if you used to base everything around the online world, yeah, you got to treat it all with a slight, you know, an air of distance, shall we say. But it's nice to read the positive comments. We don't take that for granted.
Yeah, I'd never take a positive comment for granted, but you can get so bogged down in what people are saying or the little criticism. So yeah, it's good to see what people have got to say. But you've got to keep it at arm's length and keep your feet on the ground with it, really.
Okay, let's kind of go back a bit to the early stages of the album's creation, specifically a vision. Was there one that you wanted for this particular album, musically and individually, from both your individual perspectives? Was it clear?
I think for us, we wanted to sound like a band in a room. When we did the last album, because it was during the middle of the pandemic, A lot of it was written between two people at once, so it would either be me and Jake in a room, bashing things out without the other two present, or it might be me and the singer working on the song over our laptops, and that was fine for what it was back then, but it's not the sound of a band, and it sounds really simple, but the vision was to sound like a band in a room who'd written, some good rock songs together, and I think that's what we achieved on this one, definitely.
Yeah, totally. As Matt said, I mean, COVID was a bit for everyone, wasn't it? Let's be honest. So to get past that and just to, have the unbridled joy of just playing in a room and not giving a shit. That was the aim, really. And as far as we're concerned, that, it was mission accomplished.
It sounds so simple, but was there one thing, or even several things, that kind of helped the creative spark just appear, or was it simply playing together for the first time in a long time?
Well, I mean, after COVID, we were kind of lucky, really, because we came out the gates more or less straight away. We had some good tours and stuff on the back of that. So, I mean, by the time we got round to writing and recording, Matt had been in the band for 3 or 4 years then. So there was just a natural progression of that. I mean, things like pretty much telepathic with him now. So you could just feel Matt putting more of his stamp on things. And just the chemistry between us. I mean, that just adds so much to the writing process.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think when you've because I've been in the band for a bit longer, we just had a lot of ideas, and we weren't afraid to try something out and ditch it if we weren't completely feeling it. We shelved a lot more this time than from the last record, which it made the whole kind of whittling down process. It gave us a stronger end result, I think, ultimately. That's because we're all comfortable with each other and could be honest about how the songs were going. So, it's a really good thing.
Is it fair to say this discomfort, both from your perspective, Matt, as someone who joined the band, and you guys, the rest who obviously welcomed you in, that everybody getting more comfortable with each other was one of the major important things that made this album work?
I think it made the album as good as it is. So obviously, like when you're trying to put songs together and it's just not, you just don't feel the standards are there. That can be tough. But we wanted it to be as good as it possibly could be. So yeah, I think the proof is in the pudding. Really, it's for me, I think it's a really strong record, and it's come just because we're all that comfortable with each other now, and we've got that chemistry that when we started writing the last album wasn't there. I'd only been in the band for a few weeks at that point. So yeah, proof's in the end result for me.
Okay. At what stage did you kind of start to see an album coming together? You have a lot of like riffs laid down, structures are there, you're beginning to see tracks appear. And obviously your pacing and how you were kind of moving, did that, when you started to see it come together, did it affect your pacing? Did you find you sped up or slowed down?
That's a good question, because we'd had a slow start putting it together, but when the wheels really started to turn, it did speed up to a point, and we did have to have a cut-off point of no more songs. So our last single, Far From Reality, that was written like less than 2 months before we hit the studio. We might have had a couple of riffs sort of knocking about before that, but that was the product of everything kind of, of us all firing on all cylinders, writing wise, and it came really late on in the progress. But again, it's probably my favourite song to play off the new album, so that's got to be something.
Yeah, and nothing focuses the mind like a target date as well. I mean, probably started writing back in summer of 22, something like that. But as soon as you get the recording dates in place, then things firm up a little bit more.
Is it fair to kind of sum up the entire period as a very creative one for you all as a group?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, other than, we've done some really cool festivals, but the focus around that time was definitely on writing. So, the creative thing was kind of above everything else at that point.
We're trying lots of new things as well, like some things that didn't make the album. We're just trying to write songs, really, not worrying too much about what the genre was or anything like that. We just wanted to have something good. But no, it was really creative. We were stretching our flexing our muscles in that regard, definitely, and going with what was best.
It's great to hear that it was such a great period, but also that you seem to have enjoyed it. You seem to reflect on it from a very, very positive perspective. So when you kind of look back at the entire creative process, and I'm talking from the very beginning to the very, very end, what were some personal, exciting, and fun moments of it?
Good question. I think it's always really rewarding when you get a song together that you've been kind of nipping and chopping and changing for months and months and months, and finally you feel like you're starting to strike gold on it, and you get what sounds close to a finished product like that. That for me is really rewarding. But we're always trying to just change little details here and there, get it right, change a fill, change a little guitar section. That was a highlight for me, I'd say.
It's kind of interesting as well that some songs come together so quickly. Like when Matt mentioned Far From Reality, that really, the last song being written came together in a couple of weeks, really, and you get other songs that really have to work so much harder at just to get them to flow how we want them to. But that kind of becomes really satisfying the moment it does finally click together.
What about if same question, but turn it around to the kind of more negative side of things, or positive in a certain way, the challenging part of the creative process? Because as smooth as I'm sure it was, and as much as you might have enjoyed it, there would have been times when you personally were either challenged or as a group, you kind of got stuck on a specific thing. When you reflect on the entire creative period, what were some of those personal challenging moments for you?
I
think
guess
the hardest part. Go on.
no, go on, mate. All right.
Sorry. I think the hardest part in any band or any collective, if it's a sports team or whatever, is trying to keep everyone happy and going in the same direction. Not that that's a hardship, but you've got to let everyone have their voice to a degree and make sure they're being heard and everyone's getting their point across, everyone's getting their artistic vision across, but not for the damage of the greater good as well. So yeah, it's always a balancing act, but it's one that we manage pretty well, to be honest.
I think for me, I'd talk about playing to each other's strengths and that kind of thing. Yeah, keeping everyone happy, but then to get us firing on all cylinders, it's about doing what doing what we do well. We tried to be creative and try some new stuff, and ultimately we had to go with the songs that we sounded most comfortable playing. So yeah, just finding a way to make everyone happy, but also like doing a good job at the end of the day.
And
to move forward, but not to overthink things. That's the mantra.
Okay, but how easy is it to stick with that? Because it's easy to sort of say move forward and not overthink things, but sticking to that and ensuring that everyone can come away happy is really, really difficult. Are you confident you did manage to not only keep everyone happy or everyone has walked away happy, but also to kind of satisfy yourself and feel like you haven't overthought this one?
And the only real test of that is when you play them live. And we've probably played, 5 or 6 live now, Matt?
Yeah.
And they feel the best ones to play. So
yeah,
that kind of gives a good.
We went in being quite clear that this was an album we wanted to play live. It should have a live sound. Yeah, there's a few songs that kind of overdubs and all sort of extra layers here and there. But if you're going to try and bash it out live and it sounded weak, then that wouldn't be right for us. We like playing gigs you know, we're definitely a live band. That's why we do it, really. So it's the most rewarding thing of all. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, is there a track, one track from the album that's not been released yet, of course, that you are more interested than any other to kind of see the reaction to, either in a live environment or just online, as people hear it and kind of go, "Oh, this is interesting."
We're sitting on a really cool track called Sacred Grooves, which we've done a merch design for that we're just kind of finalising and getting ready to start teasing out there. But it's quite cool. It sounds almost sort of Middle Eastern in the way that the melodies and the harmonies run, and it's a really fun, heavy song to play. I think we might have played it once. Of course, like when you're playing a song that people haven't heard yet, you can only take so much from the reaction. But that's one that, you know, we all really like to play in the practice room. You know, definitely would want it to be a staple of our live set for the Fever Dream tour cycle. So yeah, that's one for me personally.
Yeah, I'd echo that. There's a middle section of that when the riff kicks in that we all just kind of have a cheeky little smile to each other as we play it. So yeah, that's a favourite.
Fabulous. Of course, as we mentioned, third album on Heavy Psych Sounds, it's fair to say that the relationship has been fruitful to this point. Have they been a supportive label? And what have you gotten out of this partnership?
They've been so supportive. You know, with I think it's really elevated us as a band. We've got to do some, you know, amazing festivals and tours, and it puts us in the conversation with all the names of bands that are on their label. I mean, you look at how Pentagram and Conan have just joined Heavy Psych Sounds. That's our label, you know. It's done loads for Alunah being part of the label. What would you say, Jake?
Yeah, I agree. And you know, over our history, we've had our fair share of experience with labels. And one thing I'd say for Heavy Psych is they're always there to answer a question, which isn't necessarily the case with labels. So that's the biggest compliment I can give to them, really.
It's fantastic to hear. And it's fantastic to see them being so supportive of you, because, you know, Alunah obviously is quite a prolific band. Up to this point, you've created a lot of music. You're always out and about. You've got a stellar reputation within the scene, the UK scene. So talk to me about getting into the Alunah head space. What does it take? Either when you're going to play live, what do you kind of feel like you have to do to get yourself geared up for that? Or when it comes to studio time, creative time?
The Alunah mindset. I think there's a lot of football analogies and jokes that kind of go around quite a lot. But I don't know, when I'm getting ready for a gig, I try and relax. To be honest, I just try and be quite calm before the big, you know, release of being on stage. I remember one time we played a festival in Croatia last year, and we had to go on after Orange Goblin, which is not really a kind of band to relax to. So yeah, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to play my best show if I was still really amped up from watching them. In terms of being creative, I just we like big heavy rock songs. You know, Sabbath is obviously a big influence. But as long as it rocks, I think is what we say at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know, we're kind of relaxed, really, as you can probably tell, but yeah, just the emphasis really is on trying to enjoy yourself. You know, you can get caught up in details when you're playing live or record, you know, what have you, but just try and relax and enjoy it. That's why you're there.
I'm getting the vibe that you are very relaxed about this release. Clearly, you believe in it, which is fantastic to hear. So when you kind of look back again over the entire creative process, what do you think your long-term overriding memory of this release will be?
I think for me, it's the perseverance. Um, you know, like with all bands have setbacks, but ultimately, like we've stuck at it, we've stuck at the mission, and it's not kind of it's it's not going to kind of slow us down or stop us. I'm just proud that we've got an album that we really believe is as good as the last one, which we're all very proud of when it came out. I think this is just as good. Again, it's still like a broken record at this point, but the proof is just there in the end result. It's just a record that we're all really happy with and we all like listening to, which is one thing in itself.
Yeah, you know, if you can put it, we have the CDs and the vinyls delivered the other day, and you know, if you can listen to it all the way through with a smile on your face and not go, "Oh, I wish that was a bit better," or you know, then that's a really good feeling. So I think that's what I take away of it, just you know, happiness really and accomplishment.
And you're still enjoying it yourself. They're no doubt
Yeah.
hearing it more times than you probably should. You're still
Yeah.
loving it.
Yeah, don't need to hear it again, mind you, for another 2 years. But
What would
I was going to say, I think I've listened to the last album more than anyone else in the world. And I still like listening to it. It's the same for this one. You know, I haven't got sick of it yet.
So what would success for Fever Dream look like to you?
touring, festivals, more and more and more. That's what we want to do. That's the point of being in a band, really. Everything else is just detail.
Yeah,
I want
I
to get
agree. It's a simple answer. It's being able to play it live and to as many people as possible. We did a really couple of cool. We did a couple of really cool support slots when we did the last album. We'd love to do that again. That for me is as good as it gets in this industry, to be honest.
Obviously, the year's coming to an end. We are in the middle of September right now. So without really talking about the end of the year, I more want to focus on what 2025 might look like, but not specifically your plans, more a goal, an aim that you might have personally, something that you want to achieve. When you look at 2025, is there something that you want to kind of aim for that's realistic?
We'd like to get back to Europe. To be fair, I think it's not something we've played a few European festivals, but in terms of the tour, that's something that we talked about, and we weren't able to do it on the last album cycle. And it's definitely you know an aim to go back out to our fans in those countries who we might not have seen for 5 years. You know, we don't take it for granted the following that we have out in Europe. So that's one for me anyway.
Yeah, it's something we definitely need to try and complete, really. We do want to be back over there. We've done about, I don't know, we've done about a dozen flyings over the past few years, but to get back on the road and do a consistent one is the dream.
A realistic and achievable dream.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, fellas, I just need a couple more minutes of your time. This is Ozzy Osbourne, and in his head are cards of everything and anything, including many submissions by bands and artists that we've spoken to over the years. What happens now is basically I just pull some out at random. It can be anything, all in the name of fun, of course. Nothing too serious in here. And if you both don't mind giving me an answer to whatever the question is. So we begin with, all right, this comes from the guitarist and vocalist Lee of Blue Stragglers. If you could live forever, would you choose to? Bearing in mind you would age as well.
Not a chance.
No, yeah, no.
Not a chance.
Short answer.
I like it. It is, but
I thought that was such a great idea when I was a little boy. But no, I'll take my sell by date when it comes. You know, I'm totally fine with that.
Give us death any day.
fair enough. Your next one is TikTok. Yay or nay?
Ooh.
How do we feel about it?
No.
I've got to reluctantly say yay because one of my side hustles is like run other bands with social medias for them. So it's a reluctant yay. But if I could not have a Facebook or an Instagram or a TikTok, if that was viable, I would take that option. It's just not.
Is Alunah on TikTok?
we've got an account up there. It's not. I think the password's been lost along the line, so I was trying to get hold of it a couple of months ago. I might have to make a new one and put all our reels on there. We do have a TikTok there.
Right. As a child, was there a game show you dreamed of being on?
I think I'm going to
This is
remember
where
all
people
the
get
game
aged.
shows. Yeah, I was going to say I'm going to remember all the game shows than Matt. Yeah, I think I wouldn't say I dreamed of being on it, but I don't know. The Price is Right. What else? Family Fortunes. That's not that old. That's called modern, really, isn't it? I guess.
Depends on the
I wanted
host.
to be on the Crystal Maze. I wanted to be on the Crystal Maze when I was younger. I can barely remember like all the different levels, but yeah, that's the one thing that comes to mind. Being very young and watching that and thinking this looks amazing. Sign me
See that's so much a cooler answer than what I was going to say. Blankety blank.
Blankety blank.
What can I say? What can I say?
Okay, what we got next? All right. What is a great film score?
Ooh, that's a great question. You know, I like some of the music in The Great Escape. That's a real typical British answer, but yeah, it gets you. It tugs at the heartstrings in the right way, and then makes you feel all warm inside in a different way. No, I'll go for that one.
Cool.
That's a good one. I'd go for The Godfather.
Big, big sounds. What is your favorite swear word?
Can we say?
Of course.
I don't think anything really sums up certain people quite as well as cunt, really. I think it's
It's a
underused
classic.
words. It is, yeah. I think there's times when, quite frankly, only that will do. Yeah.
I'm a fan of bollocks. Not in that way. I mean, like the word bollocks. It's got a Britishness to it. You know, it's got a nice ring. But cunt is also very much up there.
Awesome. All right, Nick, the vocalist of After Smoke Clears, asks, you have 24 hours left on Earth. What are you doing?
Spoons.
Yeah.
Perhaps a bit more interesting than that. Do you know what? I'd go eat all my favourite foods like 5 times over, and I'd be very, very bloated at the end of the 24 hours. That's something I would do. I don't know. Put on my favourite record. Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. That's something we embody in this band.
Who were we kidding, Matt? We just end up going to Spoons.
We would. And it would be great.
Okay, how do you like your steak done?
I like a rare steak. I like a rare steak.
Boring answer, medium.
You learn a lot about people via how they like their steak done. Okay, spring, summer, autumn, or winter? What season are you?
Spring.
Yeah.
I really like spring. Late spring, just before it gets all kind of heat wavy, is the best time of year. Before I get my hay fever as well. So yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay. Are you an emotional person? Or would you consider yourself an emotional person?
I would say so. Yeah. In my own way.
Yeah, I guess so. Kind of try not to be and think before you speak a little bit more as you get older, I guess, but that doesn't always work.
Yeah, definitely.
And last but not least, what would your dream job be, aside from being a musician? So eliminate that. What's your dream job?
That's a good question. I've just dreamed of being a guitarist on stage for like half my life, but not to have any other job. God. What about like a beer tester? Like that's got to be kind of fun and enjoyable. You know.
I'll second that.
Yeah, we'll just a little bit more alcohol in this one, please. Why, you know, that'd be a good way of paying the bills.
Yeah, a wheel ale tasting.
Okay, cool. Just to remind people, of course, as of the time of recording, Fever Dream, your brand new album, it is out in 2 days' time, but that is Friday, the 20th of September, 2024, via Heavy Psych Sounds. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having us, Carl.
Cheers, Tom.
Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website where reviews, news and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at GBHBL. Just search for GBHBL and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.